We are here today for the January 17th, 2013 Oklahoma City Board of Adjustment meeting. This is a call to order for that meeting. The Board of Adjustment is a public hearing that hears special exceptions, variances, oil and gas related cases, and certain appeals. If you're not here for one of those matters, you may be in the wrong room, but we are glad you're here today, and we will try to run this docket quickly and efficiently. I would say this, the flu bug has hit our board, and we're down to 3 members today, so we're a little short-handed. Are there any continuances from the staff or from the public that we need to discuss at this time? Oh, okay, let's do that. Thank you. I was not at the last meeting, so I would entertain a motion to receive the minutes of January 3rd, 2013.
So moved.
Second. Would you please cast your vote to receive them? That is approved. Now, I will ask, are there any continuances from the staff or from the public at this time that we need to address?
We have 2 today. Item number 1, case number 13653 through 13656 is requesting a continuance to February 7th, and item number 6, case number 13667, is asking for withdrawal.
I'll entertain a motion to continue case number 1 to February 7th at this time.
I'll move that.
Is there a second?
Second.
Please cast your vote. That's approved. And then I'll move as to case, or I'll ask that we have a motion as to case number 6, that it be withdrawn at this time. Is there a motion?
Second.
Yeah. Please cast your votes. That is withdrawn.
Okay.
First order of business today will be case number 2. Will be our first order of business. Any continuances from the audience? There being none, let's hear the first case.
Item number 2, case number 13663, application for special exception of TNT Operating Company to convert an existing oil gas well to a saltwater disposal well located at 525 Southeast 11th Street.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and the board. I'm Wayne Smith, 7011 North Robinson, here on behalf of TNT Operating. This is a conversion of an existing well to disposal service. It is non-commercial, so any truck traffic would be limited to that. It has been approved by the Corporation Commission. The permit for disposal was submitted with the application to the board, and I would be happy to answer any questions.
When will the conversion process begin?
Upon approval of the city permits.
Okay. Any questions by any of the board members? Would someone like to propose a motion?
Motion for approval.
Second. Please cast your votes. You're approved, sir. Thanks for coming today.
Item number 3, case number 13664, request of Andy Hughes for a variance to the sign regulations and building setback located at 4320 West Reno Avenue.
Good afternoon. How are you, sir?
Good afternoon, Board.
Would you please state your name and address?
My name is Andy Hughes. My office is at 4320 West Reno.
And how do you spell your last name?
Hughes.
Okay. Would you present your application at this time, please, sir?
Yes. Do I need to give you this application that I have?
I'm sorry?
I'm requesting that we we give me the variance to replace a marquee sign. Do you have the picture of the marquee sign there?
I do.
With an LED sign. I've got copies of an LED sign that's similar. If you want to see what's going to go up there.
That'd be helpful. Would you mind giving that to Kathy, please? Thank you, sir. And I guess the questions I have is, number 1, you're not moving the location. Number 2, you're not increasing the size. No. And then lastly, you're not increasing the height.
No. In fact, if you'll see that picture you have there, there's the marquee sign right above it says Teener's Western Outfitters. Mm-hmm. That will be removed. The sign that says Alicia's and shoe repair will be removed. The open till 8 be removed, and the expert boot shine will all be removed because this LED sign, we can advertise that.
So it'll be less.
Yes.
Okay? Any questions from any of the board members concerning this application?
If there's no protest, I'll move approval.
No one has protested this, have they?
Not to my knowledge.
Move approval.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Please cast your votes at this time. Sir, you are approved. Thanks for coming today.
Thank you.
Item number 4, case number 13665, request of Robert Cosgrove for a variance to allow an accessory building exceeding the maximum square footage requirement located at 9801 Southeast 44th Street.
Would you please state your name and address?
I'm Dale Burge, the contractor, Tri-Stone Construction, and this is Robert. What's your address?
Robert Cosgrove, 9801 Southeast 44th, Oklahoma City, 73150.
All right, thanks for coming today. Would you please present your application at this time?
We wanted to receive a variance for the building that we're trying to build it back. We tore down an old building. It's going back about the same size, but it's actually 30 feet. The size of the lot is like 30 square feet. It's too small to meet that recommendation, so that's why we came to get that variance.
Subject property is .01 acre shy of 1/2 acre, correct?
Yes.
Are there any protests or objections to this application that you're aware of?
No.
Any questions from any of the board members?
Yeah, did I hear you say you're replacing one of the buildings that was removed?
Yeah, there was an old building on there, an old postmarn type building with a dirt floor. And instead of trying to fix it up, improve it, I decided to just tear it down and have Dale build a concrete floor building, something a lot nicer.
Regular, with a real footing like a regular house would have.
Okay.
So you're asking for a 1,200 square foot building, but you're going to have total buildings on the property of almost 2,000 square feet, correct? Or has that building been removed?
Right under 2,000 foot, yeah.
So we're really granting a 700 square foot variance and not, is that correct?
Based upon existing structures.
Right.
Yeah.
If you count all the buildings on the property, yeah.
Here's like 1,200. And we're designing it to match the house now, because the other one was kind of a sloped shed look, and it was really run down and ruddy and caving in, actually.
And has that already been removed, or is it to be removed?
Yes, it's already been removed.
Okay. So the old building's been removed. Are there any other questions concerning the application?
On the existing building, that, from what I'm looking at, if you're facing the property on the left side, are you going to change that to match the same design that you've given us, or is all going to look this residential look that you've included in our materials?
No, it's just a 24 by 24 steel building. It's been there 20 years.
Okay.
Both the buildings were there 20 years. It's just the one in the middle was getting kind of ran down, and instead of trying to fix it up,
It had a dirt floor. And everything was rotted, with termites and everything, so we're going to actually put a real footing in and have it inspected with a real floor, and so it's all structurally built to complement the house,
I move for approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
Would you please cast your votes at this time? Sir, you're approved. Thanks
Thank
for
you a
coming.
lot. Appreciate it.
Item number 5, case number 13666, request of Bank of Oklahoma mortgage for a variance to permit an accessory attached signs exceeding the maximum allowed size located at 4005 Northwest Expressway.
Hello, I'm Jim Hagel. I represent Chandler Sign Company, Dallas, Texas. I'm representing the Bank of Oklahoma Mortgage Group,
Could you spell your last name? I'm so sorry.
Hagel, H-A-G-L-E. I'm not kin to Chuck Hagel. He spells it different. We're making an application for a 191 square foot sign on top of the building. Could I see my drawing for the property? Drawing of the sign?
We'll get there in just a second.
Okay. There you go.
Is this what you're referring to?
Yes, sir. There you go. Those are individual channel letters, what we call individual channel letters in our business. It's you have a red logo. They'll illuminate red at night, red during the daytime. The letters are what we call a dual color type of letter. Those will illuminate white at night, black during the day. This property was zoned to where the code says 50 square feet. We're asking for 191 square feet, which is a lot more. But this is a highly traveled area, avenue, traffic artery, if you will. We did some research as far as the traffic count there. You got over 52,000 vehicles goes by there daily. That translates into 19 million per year, which translates into over 28 million exposures per year. This is a high visibility area. I'm not privy to why it was zoned the way it was. I spent the night here in Oklahoma City last night, and I drove by there when I was at dinner. It's like an island of darkness in an area of light, those two buildings. To the left of it, and I've got some pictures of various institutions close by. You have a Chase Bank. Gosh, look how big their signs are. You have one next door, I believe it's a credit union. That sign right there is probably 200 square feet. Easy. So we feel that denying us the ability to put adequate communication on the building is going to handicap us as far as marketability, footprint, I guess you'd say, in the community, and a detriment to our ability to do business. So,
from what I could tell, it was more of a directional issue to provide people with the ability to see where the building is located, safely get off the road to get to the spot they're going.
well, it's part of advertising, yes, sir.
But there's a lot of traffic that comes from the customers that use that building, correct?
I just know how many people go by there a day.
Yeah.
I don't know if you figure a certain percentage of those people would be potential customers, then you go from there.
Okay. We have
I
somebody
got some folks from the banks want to speak. This is Dina.
for purpose of the record, would you state your name and address, please, ma'am?
I'm Dina Milburn. I work for Bank of Oklahoma, and our office is at 6242 East 41st Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Okay.
I drove down for this meeting. I work in the Corporate Real Estate Services Division and negotiated this lease with the ownership. We're relocating an existing mortgage office, and what you just said hit the nail on the head, and I want to make it clear that this is not about advertising. This is not about branding. This is, in fact, about location identification, and it's really a helpful provision because our mortgage, first of all, mortgage it's an entirely different business than banking. Banking, you open up an account, you go to that branch, you know the location, and it's on a regular route for you. Mortgage, sometimes they're referred to a mortgage broker by the realtor, and they've never met the mortgage broker. But there are instances, and they can handle a lot of the transactions over email and via courier, but there are instances where they need to bring documents, and it's the soccer mom that's on the way to take her child to dance class. She's getting off work. She's just trying to see an address, and the best example was me today coming in at the last minute because I drove around and around. My GPS wouldn't work in this particular sector. I don't know if it was the satellite. And the address on the building was so small, and me not being from Oklahoma City, I almost caused accidents trying to find the place. But of course, it's a landmark to the people who live around here. But, you know, for the soccer mom who's driving down the road, she can see, okay, it's there, it's that building, and then she's not causing the wrecks. And so I just want to reemphasize, that's the purpose, is to make it visible. It does not, the way the buildings are situated, there's no signage on the east side that would reflect any of the residential. This is just to the street and just for the benefit of saying, that's where you need to go.
So it's not facing the residents, is what you're
No, not at all.
Okay.
To Northwest Expressway only.
And just for purposes of the record, I'd say that the staff has no unfavorable recommendations. It appears that this is proportionate to the building. There is one letter that came in from a Mr. Scroggins who asked us to vote against it, but I don't think, is Mr. Scroggins here today? I don't believe he's here.
I actually pulled his address up on Bing Maps. I got a copy of the letter, and he is to the north and the east and will absolutely not see this sign day or night.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Any questions?
I move for approval.
Is there a second? Second. Please cast your votes at this time. You're approved. Thank you for coming today.
Item number 7, case number 13668, request of Kim Can Services for a variance to the hard surface paving and landscaping requirements located at 2232 Northeast 4th Street.
How's it going today?
Solid gold. How are you?
Good, good.
My name is Steve Meek. I'm a representative of Morton Buildings, and
I'm David Seal. I'm operation manager for Kim Can Services for the Portable Restroom Company.
Could one of you give an address with a name so we can have it for purposes of the record?
my address is 9021 Northwest 147th Place.
Thank you.
You want my
Sure.
home address? 1402 Mary Lee Lane, Edmond, Oklahoma.
Thank you. Would you please present your application at this time?
As you've probably viewed the information, guys, this is a base of operations for Kim Can. As you probably are aware, just by the name, provide a lot of the portable restroom facilities around the community for not just job sites, but a lot of events. And this location on 4th Street is simply a service operations for their business. They've got on-site an inventory of probably 300 portable restrooms, and then they also have facilities that are larger that you would see maybe at a golf tournament or something like that. I brought a piece of, somewhere, a map, Google map, in case what you have doesn't show it adequately, but you can see on this Google map how many facilities are there at the site. The structure that they're wanting to build is actually to replace an existing small building which in effect doesn't require any additional access. In other words, there's access to that location already. The paving requirement would be fairly substantial in terms of interrupting their operations. They have 17 drivers that are coming and going on a daily basis, some of them multiple times, I'm sure. There is not any general public nor customer activity at this location. People don't come and look at a porta-john. They know what it looks like, so they call, and arrange for their service. Other yards, obviously, in the vicinity are also gravel yards. And then lastly, I just think that from the landscaping aspect, not trying to be smart aleck here or offend David, but I don't know how many trees or shrubs you could plant to make 300 porta-johns look better. So,
And there's only access from Northeast 4th Street, correct?
yes.
All right. And for purpose of the record, I'm not aware of anybody that has protested or is here today in opposition.
We don't know that.
Mark, I just thought of something. Danny, I have one of these sitting in front of our new home we're building. Do I need to, I write him a check every month, do I need to recuse myself? Okay.
As long as you can make a decision without being prejudiced, and you've announced your potential conflict, that's fine.
I'm glad that's going to be on TV at 6 o'clock.
All right. I find no unfavorable considerations that came from staff review. Are there any questions from the board? If not, I'd entertain a motion.
I'll move approval.
Second.
Would you please cast your votes at this time? You guys are approved. Thanks for coming today.
Thank you very much.
Item number 8, case number 13669, request of Mitchell Morris for a variance to the rear yard setback located at 11617 Southeast 59th Street.
Yes, my name is Mitch Morris. I live at 11617 Southeast 59th, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma.
Okay. Would you present your application at this time, sir?
About 2 months ago, I've been working on a shop building for my house to have one constructed and talked to numerous contractors about having one built. Finally decided upon one. Purchased the building from Alliance Steel, very high quality. There should be some pictures of it up there somewhere.
We have the pictures.
Well, I thought that was it right there. That's the building over to the left. The people came out and installed the building. Unbeknownst to me, I was supposed to have a building permit. Wasn't sure why, but I just keep my lawnmowers and a few shop tools and a few things in there. The way this was brought to my attention, I contacted OG&E to have electric installed, and they said, we need to see your approval. I said, I don't even know what you're talking about. So long story made short, I came down and I talked to the city. I went to the Board of Adjustment and Variance, and I said, this is my problem. What can I do? There's no easement or anything on the back of the lot. I sit approximately 15 feet off of my property line. Everything to the front of that, there are water lines. There's 2 huge trees there. I couldn't move it any further forward. One of those pictures off to the right, off to the east exposure, that's the front. You can see the angle, and it descends down from where it's level down to the bottom of that gulch is about 20 feet. So there wasn't another level spot on my 5-acre piece of property where I could locate that building. The people we had purchased the house from about 12 years ago had created that little flat spot where that building sits now, and they had used it for a volleyball court. So my contractor said, there's a foot of sand there and it's already level, let's put it there. So that's what I did. So I screwed up, so I'm here saying, I don't think it's impacting anybody. Nobody in the neighborhood can even really see the building. I'm completely surrounded by trees. There are no external lights or anything in the area.
And to the north of the building, there are trees, and is there a fence too, or just trees?
The fence behind the building is my actual property line. That fence to the east is just a dividing fence in my property.
Okay.
I have 5 acres right there. I extend another 200 feet from the edge of that building all the way to the street headed east.
Okay. And your neighbor to the north is not protesting?
I'm sorry?
Your neighbor to the north is not protesting this application?
No, sir, he is not.
And the building is 25 feet by 50 feet, is that correct?
That's correct.
Right. Any questions from any of the board members? There being no opposition here today, I'd entertain a motion at this time.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Please cast your votes. You're approved, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Next time, get your building permit.
Thank you.
Item number 9, case number 13670, request of Quality Metal Finishing for a variance to permit a building with exposed exterior metal located at 15 Southwest 25th Street.
Good afternoon. David Box, 522 Colcord Drive, here on behalf of the applicant. The application before you is a variance request from the prohibition of the use of metal siding, both within the urban design overlay in the central or the CBD district. What we have is a parcel that sits in a unique area of the use of the urban design and CBD because it's actually surrounded by various other buildings that utilize the metal siding. What I believe has been provided to you in your packet, this is just an enlargement of it. So you can see what we're going to do is come in with a masonry material on the front that's an ephes-like brick and metal on the side. And some of the pictures I believe are in your report show that there are several other buildings in the area that utilize the metal siding. This is a second building of quality metal finish. They have an existing building that is the blue building. It's just immediately east of this proposed building, and we're at Southwest 25th between Santa Fe and Broadway.
Are these buildings connected in any way, or are they all separate structures?
They're separate structures.
Okay.
And staff has found no unfavorables, and there's been no protests. We first had to go before the Urban Design Commission, and that body recommended approval of this item.
So you've had a previous approval. There's no opposition here today.
Correct.
Any questions by the board? I'd entertain a motion at this time.
So moved.
Second. Would you please cast your votes? You are approved, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming today.
Item number 10, case number 13671, request of Hal Bowie for a variance to the 15-foot side yard setback located at 10900 San Lorenzo Drive.
Just for purpose of the record, before we get started with this matter, which is case number 10, it appears we do have someone to speak in opposition to this motion, Mr. Jim Jackson. So, sir, would you please state your name and address?
Hi, my name is Hal Bowie, and today I'm here to asking for the variance setback from 15 foot to 5 foot at the location on 10,900 San Lorenzo Drive. Way back to 4 years ago when I bought the land, and I got the covenant from Melvin Arthur. He's a developer, and I got a copy of that. They state that my lot is only set back 5 foot. So, like a couple months ago, when I got the design to draw my house on a setback of 5 foot on both sides, when I came to the city, when I tried to put a permit, and they said the put's, I believe, 978, and they asked for the 15 foot. I sent to the Home Association, and they approved a couple months ago. And then the reason, because the floor plan I have, they asking for all the garage cannot face to the front of the street. Yeah, that's the reason why I want to get the variance setback to from 15 to 5 foot on both sides.
Okay.
For the new house that
Now, you spell your last name, is it B-U-I?
Yeah, B-U-I. Bowie.
Okay. And it's my understanding that when you bought this property about 4 years ago, you looked at the covenants, and the covenants reflected a 5-foot side yard setback, correct?
Yes.
And once you went to pull a building permit, the city raised issues with this per the PUD, correct?
Correct.
And what you've done to try to alleviate this is you've gone in front of the Homeowners Association, and they're approving your building plans? Is that
Yes.
what you're saying?
Yes.
We've received a letter from a Mr. and Mrs. Fisher. Have you seen that letter, sir?
Yes, I do have received that email, yes.
And they are asking, they're not opposing your motion, they're just asking that guttering be installed on the sides of the home that would allow the water to flow at the ends of the property as opposed to flowing towards their property. Does that make sense?
Yes, I agree.
All right. And you have no problem with that?
I have no problem with that.
Okay, well, why don't you take a seat for a second, and we'll have Mr. Jackson at this time speak, and then we'll ask for some more comments from you after Mr. Jackson has spoken, okay? Mr. Jackson? How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. Good afternoon. My name is Jim Jackson. My address is 7400 Southwest 112th Street. I'm on the board of directors of the Rio de Bella HOA, which is the addition that this is in.
Okay.
The covenants for the addition do state a 5-foot offset on the sidelines, but they also state, item 26, notwithstanding any provision contained herein, all lot owners must comply with all ordinances of the City of Oklahoma City pertaining to this addition. The Bowie Center plans in, they were approved. We went by our covenants, our oversight committee approved them. But then when we found out that that did not meet the city ordinance, at that point we took exception to it. We rescinded our approval. And our oversight committee that approves the plans, the board of directors, we all feel that people move out into an addition such as Rio de Bella with the larger lots, they're half acre up to a little over 2 acres. They have more room between them and their neighbors. And so the HOA would like to see the 15-foot offset maintained.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to add at this time?
Not at this time.
The question I would have is, I know that the Fishers are supportive of this, and they're the immediate neighbors to the west side of the lot, as long as adequate guttering is put in. Is that something that you could be comfortable with and let the project proceed?
I would like to see more room in between the property lines on the side and the house.
Okay.
There's an additional garage added to this storage that's on the side there with a portico between it. If that was moved over next to the house, or that building was moved back to the rear and over a little bit, they would fall within that. They could maintain that 15-foot easement through there fairly easily.
Okay.
And that's our stance on it.
All right. Anything else?
That's all I have.
Does the board have any questions?
What was the, I know that board directors approve plans for homeowner associations, they go through it. Your process when you said it was, you told them initially it was okay, is my understanding correct?
That's right. That's when we were going by our covenants.
Right.
We didn't realize that there was a 15-foot offset on the side property lines required by the city.
So then what was the time frame from that to when they were notified that there was a...
The time frame, the plans, I believe, were approved probably into November, 1st of December. Belinda, would you agree with that? Okay. And Belinda's on the oversight committee, and there's also a homeowner across the street.
So, yeah, this
from
was
the
a fairly
residence,
quick...
so,
And then when was the approval rescinded?
about a week after we received notice, or 4 or 5 days after we received notice, that a variance was being requested.
Okay. You are, feel free to come up here and state your name and your address, and you can speak to the board.
My name is Belinda Woods. I live at 10855 San Lorenzo Drive, which is diagonally across the street from the Bowie's lot. So what I wanted to add was, even though the Oversight Committee was functioning from a set of covenants that said 5 foot, there is an addendum to that that has been officially filed. There was an error when that was originally written, and it should have said 15. It was a typographical error from the very beginning. So unfortunately, the committee wasn't aware of that. But I do have that now in my possession at home. And unfortunately, I walked out the door without it this morning. But it was officially filed, so it's a part of the covenants of the addition that it is a 15-foot requirement on the side lot.
And do you know when those were filed? Were they filed before or after Mr. Bowie purchased his lot?
That would have been filed with the covenants. Well, no, I'm sorry. I don't know when he bought his lot.
He said about 4 years ago.
This
And if you
happened-
don't know, that's okay. I'm just...
I
okay.
do not know.
All right.
I kind of have I'm torn because I think that this is going to be a nice home, this is a nice neighborhood. I do understand the neighbor's perspective. But you buy a lot, you go live in a neighborhood, you know there's going to be certain restrictions you have to adhere to, especially if you have to have your plan made to that, is kind of what I'm thinking. And maybe they have to modify their plan. Land's a finite space, and you have to live within those confines. But we don't have the Fishers here, so I don't know what, other than the guttering, what other they'd be requiring.
Sure. Mr. Bowie, can you come back up for a second? The one thing we try to do as a board is to hear both sides and try to be as fair as we can to both sides. And it appears that your homeowners association has now withdrawn that approval based upon the 5-foot setback. And what we have done in the past, and I'm not advocating you do this, and I'm not telling you what to do. We have, from time to time, continued a hearing such as this and allowed you to sit back, allow you to sit back down with the homeowners association and see if you can come up with some compromise that you both can agree on, and then we can approve that. And so I'm more than happy to ask the board to entertain a motion to continue this to the next meeting so you can have an opportunity to sit down with the HOA and see if you can come up with something that everybody can live with. Would that be okay?
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I willing to modify the plan, but the Rio de Bella, okay, they asked for all the garage had to be not face to the front. If you look at my plan, because I'm the builder too, the architect draw, so I follow the rule on the Rio de Bella, and I need the 4-car garage because I need the storage. The reason why I need the storage because I do the construction, and then they not allow me to face to the front, and right now the total width is 120. If I can compromise with the setback, but I need more than, if you minus 120 by 30 on both sides added up, so I only have 90. I don't think it's enough for me to get the portico dry, to get the door into the back of my storage.
And that comes back to a covenant on where the garage can face, the direction it can face. Is that what you're talking about?
Well, because on my plan, I got the storage garage. It built right to the setback of the 5 foot. I can move it in, but if total with the regular with 15 and 15, so like 30, and then you take 120 minus 30, so it's 90. It's not enough for my 4-car garage. Will be a storage. Yeah, you can look at the plan.
Okay, let's do this. If you would like us to pass this to the next meeting, we're more than happy to do that. With the understanding, Mr. Jackson, you're more than happy to sit down with Mr. Bowie and the Homeowners Association and visit with him about trying to come up with something we all can live with and that we can approve. Does that seem reasonable to you? And the one thing I would say is that Mr. Bowie brought this property reading a covenant that he believed was a 5-foot setback. And so whether that's right, wrong, or indifferent, that's what he relied on to build this home. And so hopefully we'll pass it to the next meeting. You guys can come up with some solution and come back and see us next time, okay? Is that okay with everybody? I'd entertain a motion to continue case number 10 to our next scheduled docket, which would be on
7th.
Yeah, February 7th.
February 7th.
February 7th.
So moved.
Second. All right, there's a motion and a second to continue item number 10 to the February 7th docket. Would you please cast your votes? Sir, we'll see you February 7th.
Okay.
Thanks for coming today. Is that everything?
That's it.
Do we have anything else? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
We're adjourned.